Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video for Soul, we are having a look at the word choice and how we are going to redefine not only the word choice, but also decision. Many use the words choice and decision interchangeably. However, I'd like to have a look at how these two words can initially assist and support you in walking through your obvious compromising thought patterns and reaction patterns, and how in having a look at the word choice, assisting and supporting with that process of change from identifying compromising thoughts and emotions to the word decision that will assist and support with your living change. Right. So for a moment, as a bridge of support in your process from the mind's simulated reality into this real life reality, we're going to use the words choice and decision as support. And this, yet again, is the beauty of our relationship with words. How, we can have a look at words in, yes, utilizing what is already here, meaning, there's nothing wrong with the word choice or the word decision in itself. It may need some tweaking here or there, but with the tweaking of how the word already exists and redefining it in a way that's going to assist and support us in strengthening who we are in thought, word, and deed, not only for ourselves, but also for others in our life. Here, we're having a look at the core principle we are wanting to bring through in people, which is what's best for all. What does that mean? We mostly have this inherent or automated, seemingly natural tendency of thinking more about ourselves in the starting point of self-interest, greed, survival, than considering others as ourselves and considering how our words and our actions may affect others as ourselves. What does as ourselves mean? As ourselves mean looking into the principle, do unto another as what you'd like to be done unto. Realizing that the words you speak and the actions you live have an effect on people and their experiences and their thoughts and how they view themselves, see themselves, and accordingly respond to you. And it's always to place yourself as when you're in the presence of another and ask, if I were them, what me would I have enjoyed, And not only do that for others, but do it for ourselves as well. When our thoughts or our emotions, what's going on inside of ourselves is doing obvious things, which is, making us feel inferior, less than, victimized, disempowered, helpless. How and where and when are we going to decide till here no further and do something about what we are allowing to do to ourselves, let alone others, right? So here we're going to walk a twofold process. Not only have a look at choice and decisions, but also have a look at how we can bring the principle of what's best for all into this process of living awareness. Because what is interesting about this process in this world is that as long as we are in here, it's very easy to live in a self-interest, greedy way. Because, in here, there's only me, myself, and I. I only have to be worried and concerned about me. But when we start living with more awareness, more of our real selves in the physical world, here we're getting to the reality, which is that I'm actually living in my space, in my social environment, with people, with more people. I can't anymore, or it will be more challenging and difficult to live in a very self-interested, greedy way. Blowing up and throwing my emotions all over the place and being pissed off when I want to be pissed off and take out all my personal stuff on everyone else. Can't do that. And I myself found that dimension hiding within me, where I realized I was isolating myself from people because a part of me had become almost addicted to wanting to stay in my little bubble of self-interest and greed, where I can keep all my reactions, experiences, opinions, views to myself. And I can let it out toward people, who I choose to. Maybe some work acquaintances who I don't really have a relationship with. So, I can throw tantrums there, and whether they like me or not, I don't care, because I don't have a relationship with them. So it was interesting and shocking for me to realize how I would justify and excuse some of my relationships in my life based on wanting to protect and defend me, wanting to justify and reason why I am the way I am. And when I started changing this and actually started bringing the awareness through of my words and my actions have an effect on others as me imagining if I were them and a person came at me like I did toward them, man, that would not be a pleasant experience. So why would I want to do that unto another? And it wasn't easy. It's not easy walking that process of change, because we're so used to apparently thinking that the way of living in an isolated way is easier, is more manageable. It exposes you to less shit. When fact of the matter is, when you put yourself out there and you really start creating meaningful, valuable relationships with other people, does many things inside yourself open up? Yes. Do you face difficult people? Yes. And as you face difficult people, do you open up and expose things inside yourself that you could never have imagined could even exist? Yes, you do. But in also doing that, you find the gifts that exist in this existence. And many times people have asked me, wouldn't you, with knowing what you know, and having put yourself out there, and having been exposed to the not so good of this world, would you go back and take the ignorant pull, as they say? I said no, because I wouldn't be the expansive, open, expressive, supportive, putting myself out there, reaching out to people whose lives I have affected and changed, who've equally done so for me, no matter how few and far between. I wouldn't give that up. So I would like everyone to take this first step with me as I did, by making a decision. Now, what's the definition of decision? The definition of a decision is an action, is a movement that you make within yourself. That is a visible something that you do in your everyday life, in your spoken word or your living expression that is tangible. Okay. But first, before we get there, let's understand choice. Where do we start with redefining and living words? It's first defining the word. I'd like everyone for this video to have a look at, if you look at the word choice, if you just look at it inside yourself, if you speak it out loud, and when you write it down, all those dimensions, what are all the different points that emerge within you? So that we first can see, what comes up. And it was interesting for me because of I had quite an affinity and utilizing the Matrix movies as many examples in processes that I walk. That was one of my first references that came up is that movie where they speak about choice and in a very interesting, fascinating dimension. But it's also always very important to never get too stuck in one dimension, one perspective, one definition of the word. The more you have, the more you've actually got to work with and to expand yourself in. All right. But for now, before I introduce you to a new dimension and perspective to the word choice, I'd like everyone to see who I am as the word choice right now. Do that for me in this video, and we'll continue more in the next. Thank you very much.